In this video, we'll be covering the main screen views in SiteMetrix Grade. This is everything an end user would need to know if they had a job loaded with a surface, line work, and localization. We'll start up in the upper left. This is our menu. This is where you can create jobs, open jobs, and more advanced features we'll be going through in later videos. To get out of menu, you just simply hit the same menu icon. Next, it says Maricopa. This is the job that I have open. If you have something like a field design open, it'll also say that. Or if you're using a guideline to get cut fill from, it'll change the name to the job name - guideline. So you'll always know where this cut fill is coming from. Currently, we're in vertical mode, which just means you have to have the receiver level using the bipod. If I hit this icon, it'll switch to tilt mode, which means it'll use the receiver's internal IMU, and you will not have to hold the receiver level or plumb to record shots or stake points. To switch back to vertical, simply hit the same icon. Next, you'll see that we're in walker mode, which just means we have a fixed pole height of 6.69 feet. If I wanted to do driving topos, I could switch to vehicle mode. In vehicle mode, I can do topos using either time or distance-based shots automatically. I can also tell it I want to shoot points on the left, center, or right side of my vehicle. To go back in walker mode, simply hit the truck icon, and now you're back in walker mode. To the right is our current pole height. If you're using a 2-meter pole, this measurement should be 6.56. If you're using our quick attach with the kit and a 2-meter pole, your height should be 6.69. Next, the Bluetooth icon is how we connect to different types of receivers. Currently, I have 2 receivers programmed into SiteMetrix Grade. If I wanted to connect to a different receiver, I simply disconnect from the current connection. The 2 receivers I have programmed in, one is for base and one is for rover. Pick which one you want to connect to, and then tell it to connect. You'll notice when I'm connected to a rover, you'll see the Bluetooth icon with the letter R. Now, if I wanted to connect to my base, I disconnect from my rover, tell it I want to connect to my base, and tell it to connect. You'll notice the icon switches to have a Bluetooth sign with the letter B, showing that I'm connecting to a base. Next is displaying that I have an RTK fixed position. If by chance my base dies or I run out of radio range, this will go to autonomous or DGPS fix, and I will no longer get cut fill. Next, we have a user icon showing what user mode we're in. If I go into menu, you'll notice some of the options are grayed out. That's because SiteMetrix Grade starts in operator mode. The icon with an I in it is for information summary. This will give the user more information to where the receiver is located. These are customizable in settings. If you go menu, settings, info summary, you can just check on or check off the information you do or do not want to see. To get out of information summary, simply click on the icon or the black box here. Next is our monitor view. For an end user, some of the useful information would be the RTK status. This is showing we're getting a correction from our base every 1 to 2 seconds, and this is the distance away from the base. It'll also show you your horizontal and vertical residuals and how many satellites you're currently tracking. There's a sat view, and then a list of satellites the receiver is currently tracking. The northing, easting, and elevation you see in the 631 info is to the phase center of the receiver, so it has not included the pole height. If you want to see the elevation with the included pole height, simply click the vehicle info, and this is the elevation using the current rod height. To get out of monitor view, simply click the same icon. Finally, the last icon we have in the upper toolbar is for the views. Some of the views I like using in SiteMetrix Grade is plan only, which as you currently see. Plan section cut fill. You have a plan view in the left side and a cross-section view in the upper right, followed by a bigger text item displaying cut fill. Another useful view is plan and section. You'll have the plan view in the upper tab and the cross-section in the lower. In each view, we give you 3 different icons. There's a zoom in, a zoom out, and in plan view, if you do not see yourself focused in the screen, hit the crosshair, and now SiteMetrix Grade will lock the receiver's position to the center of your plan view. Same in the cross-section view, you can zoom in or zoom out a little bit at a time. In cross-section view, you are represented by this white pole. Traditionally, surfaces are created to finish grade, and you have to vertically offset that surface for whatever thickness of concrete or finished grade course you'll have to put in. To do that, we have a couple different options. In the lower left, we have an increment and decrement switch. By default, this is configured to change a tenth at a time. So if I go up, you'll notice that this number changes, reflecting that I have a vertical offset of plus a tenth. It'll also add a white dashed line in the cross-section view shown here, representing your new vertical offset. Another way to configure the vertical offset is to click and hold anywhere in this light bar. It'll bring up the grading menu. We can type in the vertical offset here if we want to. You'll notice this changed my vertical offset to a -1 foot that I typed in, and the white dashed line changed to reflect that. If you have a job with multiple different vertical offsets, we have presets to store those. To use this, type in the vertical offset that you want and click and hold on any of the presets. This will change the preset to the value of the vertical offset. I'll add a couple more. You have a total of 9 different presets to choose from. Choose the vertical offset you would like to see and tell it OK. If you would like to change the amount these increment and decrements change to, that is also in the grading tab. Click and hold in the light bar and change that amount to what you want it to be. Now when I use these icons, it'll change to 5 at a time instead of a 10th. If you'd like to get station offset from a particular line, we can do that just by left-clicking on any line that you see in plan view, and it'll bring up the guideline menu. You can change the name of the line here. If the line starts at a particular station, you can type it in here. This will now change the line to show the proper stationing. You'll see in the plan view on the right side which way up station is according to the line. If it is going the wrong way, you can flip it here. If all you want is station and offset off a particular line, just click Use this guideline and OK. Now you'll see in the plan view that a new box appears showing the stationing with the corrected format. The offset value, a negative is to the left, a positive is to the right of the line. And on the right, it shows you the current horizontal offset of the line. If you want to offset this line, click and hold in the light bar and enter in the value under horizontal offset. If I want to go to the left, it would be a minus. I'll tell it I want to go -5 feet. It'll now draw a new line. The green represents the offset and the blue represents the line that I'm currently staking. In the cross-section view, you'll see yourself again as the white pole. The blue line is the line that we stake to, and then the green line would be our offset. Notice in the upper left, our job still says Maricopa, so our cut fill is coming from the surface. If the line work you bring in is elevated, we can get cut fill from the line itself. To do this, simply click the line you want to get cut fill from. You'll have the same options as before, but if we want to get cut fill from the line, we need to check on Use for Design Elevation. Limit width is used to tell how far out do we want to give cut fill from this line. If I had offset stakes at 25 feet from center, I would want to enter 50 here, so I get 25 feet each side of the center line. Again, I just tell it to use this guideline and OK. In my plan view, you'll see a purple surface over the red proposed surface. In the upper right, I'm using Maricopa, and it's also now telling me I'm using a 3D guideline. So my cut fill is coming from the 3D guideline, not the surface. In the cross-section view, you'll notice that 50-foot lane that we created. To stop staking the current guideline and go back to getting cut fill from the surface, click and hold on the line that you selected. In the lower left, you'll see Turn Off Guidance. Now we're back to Maricopa and getting our cut fill from the surface. Again, assuming the job has been loaded with surface, line work, and the localization, and the base station is set to auto base on a permanent type fixture, this is all an end user would need to know to use SiteMetrix Grade.